Welcome to the TNT Effect, the Athletes Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tierra, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Certified Athletic Trainer. And on today's episode, I have with me NFL sports agent and CEO, Edward Davis of Checkmate Sports and Entertainment. So welcome, Edward. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. All
Yeah.
right. So first thing, before we get into what you do now with Checkmate and
Mhm.
all the things that you do to help out, to actually to assist with building the careers of your elite athletes or professional athletes, let's talk about how you got to this point. What made you decide to become a sports agent and just go this route?
Okay. Well, growing up, I had the dream, like most people, to go professional, wanted to play in the NFL. My goal, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, so my goal was to play for the Atlanta Falcons, wanted to go to UGA, win a couple national championships, and then go win the Super Bowl for the Falcons.
Well, hold
But
on.
then,
Super Bowl for the Falcons. Woo!
yeah.
That dream in and of itself, it's
That's the dream, and
that's a
and
tough one.
UGA winning the national championship looked like a dream as well. The way we be acting, so I just wanted to, be the savior for my community and win finally for the city. But it didn't happen, so I had to pivot. After I ended up going to Virginia State University, played quarterback up there for a couple years. Ran into some, college politics with bad coaches, so I had to pivot. I thought about going into coaching myself, but that experience left a bad taste in my mouth. So I looked at, wanted to stay close to the game, and I just thought that athlete representation was my calling. I love the idea of representing clients and being an advocate for them and standing on the table fighting for them. So I got into athlete representation. I wanted to intern. Tried to intern for a couple people, didn't go too well. It's a very competitive business. Not a lot of opportunity, unless you bring in, LeBron James to the table, or a top talent to the table. Most people not letting you in, especially when you look like we do. So I ended up launching Checkmate Sports in 2018. We got certified 2019, and we had our coming out party this year. We got two guys into the league in a pandemic. So we the future's bright.
The future is bright. So what is the road or I guess the inroad to get into this type of profession?
Well, the old way and the traditional way is either you had to be a former athlete and that was professional athlete, that had the connections, or you have to come in and have a friend, brother, sister, somebody that has a high chance of getting drafted, and then you would just leverage that relationship with a sports agency to get an opportunity. Because they would love to recruit a player and say, hey, your brother works here, your sister works here, come work, come join our company. So that's the old way, or the Rich Paul way or the Lee Steinberg way is to be at the right place at the right time and to meet you know generational athletes on the upcome, and then just working your way into that circle and going, doing it that way. So it's really no right or wrong way. It's just get in where you fit in,
Get
and
in where you fit in.
yeah, that's the usual, the traditional way.
Okay. So someone who is in finance and they want to pivot and change career paths and they want to get into this game and become a sports agent, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the best way to go about it, it- it's really no best way. It's just to get in. But what I experienced when I was trying to get into the business, my high school principal actually is a big time sports agent right now, and I looked up to him when he was, going through his process. He was actually working he was our principal, as he became an agent, and then as he got bigger clients, he left the school system. But knowing that, I actually reached out to him. I saw, throughout my undergrad years, trying to get an internship. I reached out to him in my, when I was getting my master's to try to work with him. And I'll be honest with you, he wasn't too welcoming. And I realized that the space is so competitive, and at first I took it personal, but then I realized that his path to get there was probably very difficult because he came, he's been an agent before it was cool for, us to get into space. So probably just a rough journey for him. And so, he may not be to not trying to help the next person up, but I always feel like everybody don't have to get it out the mud. It's like you do that so that everybody don't have to do that. So that's the stage I'm going through, where I'm going through the mud. But I remember my experience with it, and it's still fresh. So once I got into the business, I said I was going to do my best to help people who want to get in. So we actually had like a beta program this last year, just to try it out, where we had a female from Xavier University. She came and worked with us. She started out as an intern, and she did an amazing job. And then she came on work with us full time now. And then we had another gentleman. He was an intern from West Georgia, and he did an excellent job. He would have came on full time, but he's still in school. So he went to work with he went in he's interning with Element Sports now, and it was just an amazing experience. And I felt honestly, it felt just as, I'm not gonna say better, to get them, like when we got the guys into the league, but it felt just as good to see, that we can help them, chase their dreams. So what we're doing now is we just want to open it up to everybody. So starting in January, we're holding a free web class for anybody who wants to become an agent. So if they're, and you don't have to be in college. You could be 25, 30, 35. But if you just want to pivot and get into the space, we are offering that opportunity. And something that a lot of people don't know about is in 2021, the name, image, and likeness bill is being passed, which is going to allow college students to get paid off of their name, image, and likeness. And I think that is the next gold rush. And so, if you haven't thought about being a sports agent, it's a good time to think about it. And the cool thing about it is we are offering that opportunity to people who want to do it, and you don't need a law degree. So I think it's something that a lot of people should be thinking about if they're not.
Okay. And what type of commitment is that with your internship? What type of commitment does that require?
Well, I don't really think it's an internship. It's more of education. The internship is there if you want to do it. The
Mm-hmm.
education part is what we think is most important, because um, what we realize is if people are educated, then they will want to do it. But if they don't know, you don't know what you don't know. So it's really just an educational process. But it's just going to be once a week, and it's going to be an hour to 2 hour long, where anybody wants to get in. Um, Ask questions. We want to do it for, it's a 6 week master class, and we're basically going to train people, educate them on the sport and the industry. And then at the end of the class, if they want to, come on full time, like if they're not in school, they can come on, or if they're in school and they just need an internship, they can do that as well. So the choice is really up to them. What we're really just trying to do is just educate people so that the next wave of agents have a good understanding of the industry.
I understand that, and that's good because as you mentioned, there's going to be a next gold rush with this new law
Mhm.
coming into place with the NCAA. So that's going to be
Mhm.
huge, and
Huge.
these
And
athletes,
a
they're going
lot
to
of
get their
people aren't talking
representation.
about it because they're building right now. They're building the apps, they're building the websites, they're building the structure so that when it passes, they're already first in line. So the thing about us, we are all about, I guess you could say, we're about we're not trying to hide the information. I don't know why a lot of people are so scarce.
Territorial.
Yeah, they have that scarce mentality, but I feel like we're stronger together. So we're not trying to hide the information. We actually want to tell the world, and we want to let the world know, hey, you can get in this space if you want to. Just you know, link up with us, and let's take over together.
Okay, I like that. Helping people come up with you.
That's what we're
Mhm.
all about.
So moving on to what you do specifically for the athletes, what does your role look like when you're helping these athletes?
Agent, we wear many hats. We negotiate the contracts. We secure endorsements and sponsorships. We're psychiatrists. we're Uber drivers, we're we pick up the lunch and dinners and stuff like that. I mean, we do a lot of things, but I mean, I guess everybody knows of a knows a agent as contract negotiator. But to be honest with you, that is so minimal for what we do, and it's only a short period of time. Majority of what we do is nurture and build the relationship with our clients and make sure that they are in optimal situations and just try to maximize their income for the amount of time that they're playing in the league.
So when you're nurturing and building those relationships, for you, what does that look like when you come into contact with that athlete, and how does that
The thing about me is I'm all about most people when they're the middleman, aka the agent, the manager, stuff like that. I feel like they try to isolate the talent so that nobody else can, because they're so afraid of people taking them away, so they want everybody to come through them, and I get it, but I compare it to like a relationship with a spouse, that person who's insecure like that, it's never, for me, when I've dealt it just never was a healthy relationship. So I'm more about empowering my clients so that when those snakes and when people who are trying to come, they're well aware to see that and just avoid those things, and they just and value me for being me. But my relationship with them is just to educate them. I just want to educate our clients so that they can make sound decisions on and off the field.
you know what, we see that a lot with or you hear about it, I should say. I don't necessarily see it so much. Maybe you do, but with the snakes and everybody coming in and they're in their ears, and maybe you start to they start to come into contact with the bigger agents or the athletes who have the bigger agents and bigger contracts and all that stuff. And then, they start making some empty promises, and it looks shiny. It's glittering, and people start to stray away and go that way, but the grass isn't always green on the other side.
It's not. The thing about it is, people always say one thing, but they always do the other. And I'm noticing that now. Like everybody always say, "Yeah, I don't want that. I want that," and then they end up going after that. It's like, so I've noticed that a lot in this business. So I started to remove emotions from the job. It's no, I'm learning not to take it personal. It's just it's business, and people are people, and nobody's perfect. And a lot of times we're dealing with you know um, young adults who are coming into wealth and been had a certain lifestyle their whole entire life. So they don't have the same experiences that we have. They may have a different perspective. So you can't really judge them on certain things, But so I try to remove emotions and just do the work. What's for me is for me.
I feel like it's kind of hard, or it can be hard, to remove your emotions. Like, it's business, but just from the human aspect, and you're building a relationship with people, and you want the best for them. Sometimes it can be challenging to, remove the emotional side, or just I'm just a good human being and you seem to be a good human being, and we're vibing, we have that chemistry, and we want to make sure that we can build that relationship. But at the same time, you have to, put the professional relationship above that, while still being a good person and not being a jerk.
Oh yeah, honestly, it's extremely difficult, especially when we know the history that we go through in this country, and the people who do it to us, and then it's crazy when you hear, a lot of people will say things like, I don't know, if we can trust you or how, and it's like history shows us who we can trust, you know like but I mean people, so I mean, I don't want to go too deep into that, but it's interesting, and it's extremely difficult to remove emotions, but because you're going to get sad, you're going to be depressed at times. But I think the part of removing emotion is to understand that, hey, I am sad, I am depressed, but it's not me. this is just something, just go sleep it off, go run it off, go work out, and then tomorrow the sun will shine tomorrow.
It will. It definitely will. So what are some of the major challenges you've faced in this profession?
I think me being young at first, the was, you know, and I still think I'm dealing with this is showing people that we have the same resources that the big firms have. A lot of families always, when I come in and sit down, they want to know, hey, how do you make money? Where's your money coming from? And it's funny because I know they don't ask anybody else that. I know when other guys walk in, they don't ask that. And then it's funny because, like for example, I had a client, big time, man. I wanted this guy so bad. He was really good. And so he's not a client, he was a potential, he was a recruit. And I was talking to him at the beginning of the summer, built the relationship. He pretty much gave me a verbal commitment, was locked in, was good to go. And then right before the season, some bigger agents came in, was just like, hey, I'm gonna give him $30,000, blah, blah, blah. So his dad called me and was just like, hey, we just got an offer from another firm, for 30,000, blah, blah, blah. I guess he was just like, yeah, so we just gonna go with him. So I was like, okay, well, because we was recruiting other guys, but I was going to stop recruiting the other guys and just recruit, put my resources into him. I was like, okay, well, we'll match it. And then the dad was like, um, okay. Let me call you back. So he called me back 10 minutes later, and then he's gonna say, so why didn't you offer that from the get-go? And I was like, because you didn't ask for that for the get, standard was paying for training and housing, transportation, like that. And so then his dad tried to switch it up. Well, I just feel like you shortchanging my son. And so what I did was I actually sent him a blog, and it was like for sports agents to break down the type of money you should spend depending on the draft grade. And the amount of money that I initially committed to was actually more than the average. And that's the bad thing about my whole point of that is we actually have to work harder, we have to do more. They want us to take less and work harder than the people out of our community, you know what I'm saying, because they feel like they're doing us a solid, they helping us out, when in actuality we're helping each other out. Because the thing about people outside of our community, when you get cut, you get cut.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And then that's when that, when they say it's business, then that's when it's business to you. But then that's when it's, oh man, the agent, they don't care about me. Yeah, you that's what you signed up for. You didn't sign up to be cared about. You signed up for business. And that's what I try. That's the hardest part about this business, is to educate people. When you sign up for the bag, you got to sign up for the bad part of it too, not just the good part, the bad part. And I think that's the rough part about it. We see it in and out. We hear all the horror stories, but some people still go into the trap.
They do. So now what's the reward for you?
I think the reward for me is it's just knowing that I played a part in making somebody's life better. Um, at this point in my career, we're working with a lot of guys that are under the radar and may be on the fence of making it to the NFL. So I actually, run into people who may not get into the league. So without our services, so we was able to get two guys to the league this year. That without our help probably wouldn't have made it. So that was extremely rewarding for us. And also again, just tying back into the people, for Tiandra and Dominique, that they came and worked with us. It was rewarding to see them follow their dreams, and see that they didn't have to go through what I went through. So I think those are just being able to be valued in service of others. I think that's the best part for me.
Service of others, absolutely. And helping people, and like you said, everybody doesn't have to go through the mud.
Because
Like we paved the
nobody else
way.
does. No, yeah, no other community does that. Everybody else, all right, great great grandpa did it, and now everybody else good. We I went through the mud, so you got nah. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Mm-mm.
So I hate that about um us. So I just want us to fix that. But yeah, we'll
When
get
you're
there.
looking for your clients, one, how do you go about looking for them? And then two, what do you look for when you're determining who you want to take on as a client?
Well, I being a former athlete, I have a good eye for talent. So I actually just watch football and I just really go off of my own eye for talent, and then I follow up with connects throughout the league to see how they feel. Make sure that I'm on point with my judgment, and then I just go from there. So it's not really um a trick to it. It's just you got to know football. Football, you lock in and you can identify who's who, who's really good, who's only good because of their system, who's good in college, but they may not be good in the NFL. So it's a skill to it, but it's not, rocket science.
Okay, but you wouldn't take on just anybody just because they're good talent, right? Or
No,
are there
no,
other
no,
things that go
no.
into it?
Oh, most definitely. I definitely character. Character is huge. And when you first get into business, you're real excited, you're thirsty, you just want to represent anybody. And it's good in the compared to relationships. It's just like, dating um somebody who you're not equally yoked to. It's like they may look good on the outside. It's like, great, great, yeah, yeah, I got him, I got her, we're in this relationship, great. But then after once that wears down, and it's like, man, this individual is toxic. This individual is not for me. Then you start to realize, what? It's not even worth it. So like once you get in it and you start to, learn your way, you start to, navigate towards certain type of players with certain type of mindsets.
Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, what should an athlete look for in a sports agent?
I think an athlete should pick an agent that picks them. And what I mean by that is if you're not a priority from the jump, just imagine what you're going to be after you sign and they're guaranteed to make those contracts. Um, and that's what I think, that should be the number one thing, because a lot of times players forget that the agent works for them, not the other way around. They're
Mhm.
so quick to want to, ride the wave of somebody else, and then they get there and they get treated like, a bonus or, not a priority, and then they're upset. And it's like, but that's what you signed up for. You signed up to be an option. You signed up just to ride the wave. So I would recommend athletes to do that.
Okay. And now, the last thing before we go, what advice would you give younger athletes and maybe even the parents who want to play at the top level, at the professional level?
For the athletes, I tell athletes to, and I tend to say this a lot, but I think it's powerful. The two things athletes should do is first, they should leverage their their power while they have it. Because the thing about sports is, and you don't realize it until you're done playing, that we aren't we're special, but we're not unique. And a
Mm,
lot of times when you're playing football and basketball and all these things, you think, oh yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Great. And then the moment when people, because life starts when people feel they can't use you. So everything you asking for, people gonna say yes, yeah, because they think you're going to the league. They think you're gonna get a check down the line. But the moment you not playing and it don't like that's done, mom and dad gonna get a little mean. Sister and brother may not cash app you. Those girls or those boys may not be checking for you like that. So and that's always gonna happen, even if you make it professional. Life happens once the game stops. So what I recommend for them is while you have that momentum to leverage it. So if you're in the league, if you're in college, go talk to the biggest boosters. Go build that relationship. Go do internships with them throughout the summer. That way, if you don't go to the league, you could transition and work for them or work with them. And if you're in the league, go talk to the owners, go talk to the GM, go get into coaching, stuff like that. So that when the game is done, It's not, you're not walking away sad. You're ready to transition into the next phase. And then the next thing I try to tell players is just to stay humble. There's in the sense of not humble as in letting people, walk all over you, but just, have a certain perspective, because the thing is you want to be humble before God humbles you. A lot of people wait to after God humbled them, then they want to, oh yeah, then they want to come to God moment. Like it shouldn't have to, that shouldn't have to happen before you to act a certain way.
Right.
So do that. And then for parents, I would just say parents just uh understand that there's a lot of anxiety and stress that players have to go through. Parents put a lot of pressure on kids, telling, hey, I need you to retire me, or I can't wait for you to get to the league to take care of this, take care of that. And that weighs heavy on players. And I realized that talking to players a lot. So as a parent, just be there. I don't want to tell people how to raise their kids, but I just want to make parents aware that those expectations are heavy on a lot of kids. So just be aware of that. And that's it for them. Parents are different. So I don't want to say nothing.
They are different.
Yeah, I don't want to say nothing bad. I just want to make parents aware of that if they didn't know.
If they didn't know. Yeah, because some parents do try to live vicariously through their children, especially if they had big dreams of being professional athletes or whatever the case is. They are hard to deal with.
You said that, not me. Because a parent
Oh,
see this and instantly write me off. So I don't. Hey, I'm
okay,
all
that
for
was all
the
me. That was all me. That was not Edward. So
right.
you can talk to him.
Parents,
He got
yeah,
you.
y'all good at parents. You good in my book.
Well, all right, Edward. I really appreciate your time and coming on the show and giving some advice to those who may need it. So thank you a lot.
Thank you for having me. And can I just wrap it up one thing?
Uh-huh.
If anybody, like I said, if anybody wants to get into the sports industry, they can sign up for our free web classes January 5th at www.sportsagentmasterclass.com. That's it.
Right. I forgot to ask you about that too. And also, if you want to drop your Instagram or any other social media
Oh
handle.
yeah, my you can follow me on Instagram. It's call my agent underscore. Again, call my agent underscore regular spelling, and it's on Twitter as well. And if you're on Clubhouse, I'm on there as well at call my agent underscore.
Okay.